This is the 2024 Toyota Corolla Circuit Edition. The highest trim you can get. Now the Morizo is sold out. This little hot hatch is a 300 horsepower all-wheel drive recipe for hooliganism. Affordable performance cars don't get much better than this. So today I'm going to test it and see if it's the right one for you to get. So I last drove this car in Morizo trim a year ago, and although it had more torque, a close ratio transmission, and shorter differential gears, it didn't have any back seats, which made taking your wife and mother-in-law out to a restaurant extremely difficult. So we were told by Toyota that the Circuit Edition would not be returning for 2024, but here it is. And there have been a couple of changes for the model year 24. This blue flame color is brand new. I think it looks really good, although certainly it will attract the attention of the highway patrol. You also get these 18-inch BBS forged wheels that look pretty good, wearing these 235/40 Z-rated Michelin Pilot Sport tires. Now, the Morizo version, if you remember, last year had slightly bigger tires. They were 245/40s, and they were wearing Michelin Pilot Cup 2s, which are ultimately stickier than these, but these are still very, very good tires. You also get these stamped rocker graphics, which run up to a stamped GR4 logo. You also get this little plaque right here that says Circuit Edition Toyota Gazoo Racing Motomachi. So the front suspension is a McPherson type strut system. The rear is a multi-link wishbone system. You get two Torsen limited slip diffs, one at the front and one at the back, but only as standard on this Circuit Edition and the premium model. If you want it on the core model, you have to pay extra for it, and I'll tell you in a minute whether I think it's worth it. Under the hood is a teeny tiny 1.6 litre 3-cylinder engine. It's got 300 horsepower, 273 foot-pounds of torque, which is a bit less than the Morizo version had, which is around 290, 295 foot-pounds. But you don't notice it. It's got a 6-speed manual transmission, and it'll do 0 to 60 in about 4.99 seconds if you're pretty good with the clutch and the shifter. With a lighter right foot, you'll get 28 on the highway, and then if you put your foot in it all the way, you'll get to 142.9 miles an hour as a top speed. So what else might you buy instead of one of these? Well, you've got Golf R is on the list, a Civic Type R, although that is only front-wheel drive. The Elantra N is also an option, and then of course the Subaru STI, which they don't make anymore. I did recently drive the WRX. I think that would give this one a run for its money, but it doesn't quite have the grunt under the hood. So in the back, you get around 17.8 cubic feet of space. You can put the seats down, which obviously you didn't have those in the Morizo, creating more space. And then underneath this mat, they've relocated the battery here for weight distribution, and there's some additional space under here, and obviously no spare wheel. So the Circuit Edition is the most expensive of the lot. It's $44,750, which is some $5,000 more than the Core Edition. And if you add the performance pack, which includes the Torsen limited slip diffs, that'll only cost you $1,100. This one has a couple of options: the lockable wheel nuts, the carpeted mat in the back there that you just saw, and then also a frameless home link mirror. Total price is about $46,700, including destination. So in the back, it's very much, and in the front too, it's very much a Toyota Corolla. It's not special like the mechanicals, the engine, and from the outside, but that's kind of what you get. A little bit of storage space, 2 sets of power USB, and a 12-volt. You get a cup holder, you get window controls, you get an armrest with 2 cup holders, and then what someone has done previously is they've taken this out because it's really annoying because you can't see out the back. So that spot right there behind the driver's seat is really handy for that middle headrest. So inside, it's very much business and no luxury. So if you want luxury, get a Golf R. But seats are very nice, very comfortable, very grippy, very supportive. Got this Alcantara, which really does help hold you in. You get an old-fashioned style handbrake, which I like. The wheel is nice. It's not too big. It's not too small. Manual adjustments for both seats. So all in all, pretty good place to be. Get a pretty decent infotainment screen running Toyota's latest software. This is the vehicle trip information. This is current trip range 235 miles. Hit history, we can see 22.7 miles per gallon, which isn't too bad, although that will probably go down as we progress with more speed. There's a settings button as well, easy to pair. You've got Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. Below that, you've got physical controls. It is a climate control system, but there's only one side, so you'll be having some fights with your partner about somebody wants it warm and somebody wants it cold, but unfortunately you can only have it in one temperature. Below that, you've got heated seat controls, and then there's a wireless charger which does not charge through my case. Here's the shifter with a GR logo on the top. Down here you've got drive modes, and then down here you can set your front and rear bias. So you can go 70-30, you can go 60-40, or you can push for track and get 50-50. So ahead of the driver, when you select the drive modes, you've got a choice of Eco, Normal, Sport, Custom. Hit Custom and you can do Powertrain Sport, Steering Sport, air conditioning. I'm not sure what sporty air conditioning is, but you can change your air conditioning if you want to. So I have all of these in the max attack level. And then you get 2 cup holders, and then no center armrest. You just get this sort of like rubber pad to put things on. It actually fits my phone quite well. So ahead of the driver, you can sort of configure this a little bit, but I like to have the gauges on the left. I got the speedo in the middle with the rev counter. I'm in custom mode right now, and then GR4 track, so I push the button in the center console down. 234 miles of range and a G meter, and then this large sort of square box really shows you what gear you're in. All right, so the interior is functional, again, not luxurious. Best part of this car by far is taking it for a drive. All right, off we go. So one thing about this particular car, it's got a few miles on it, 7,100 miles. The clutch bite point is quite high, so it was slightly tricky to get the perfect position, but I've managed it. It's got rev matching, little button down here, gives you rev matching. So I drove the WRX, the TR one, with the upgraded brakes, thought it was fantastic, but I always felt that it could use more power. And obviously, if there was an STI version, then that would be it. But this definitely feels like it has enough power. All right, onto the main road here. Really twisty in this section here. Mostly second gear and third gear. I want to see if I miss the extra, slightly wider rubber on the Morizo version that I drove. Tell you what, this Circuit Edition is great though. I mean, it really does fly. Absolutely planted. And of course, you know, these Michelin Pilot Sport 4S's, they're really good tires. You just can't compare them with the Cup 2s. But if you had Cup 2s on the car, you would be changing your tires every 5,000 miles, especially if you drove like this. Good. Third gear for this one. Pretty tight right-hander. Another tight right-hander. This thing grips in the dry amazingly well. Tight right-hander. Oh, it tucks in nicely. If you take it a little bit too quick, which I did there, the front tucks in. No understeer. I do have it in track mode, so that's probably one of the reasons why. You steer, it goes. Good workout for the brakes. Nudging that limiter there. Okay, this one is definitely a very long, sweeping left. Oh. fun to drive on a road like this. This one's got a little dip in the corner and then back down. Real test of a car's dynamics and suspension. Kind of getting used to the very high biting point for the clutch. So, as is often the case, we are stuck behind a very slow vehicle. I'm in third gear going uphill. It's laboring a little bit, about 2,000 RPM. Let's see how low I can go before it starts complaining. Oh, it's going to complain in a minute. That nice person let me by, which is good. Oh, this is such a good bit of road. The shift is good. It's not the best. I think it's on a par with the WRXs. It's definitely not as good as it's better than a Golf R, but it's definitely not as good as the Civic Type R. Honda has shifters down. Hard on the brakes. Being quite a short chassis in terms of wheelbase, it's a little bumpy. Such a fun little car, as good as I remember when I drove that Morizo. Very direct steering too, just a tiny little flick, and it just goes where you point it. So what do we think? Well, the little Corolla is absolute riot to drive. It just wants to go fast and have fun. It's a little noisy in the interior when you're driving along, a bit droney at highway speeds, particularly on the freeway, but I'll be honest, you get it out onto a back road and it's an absolute bucket of fun. Anyway, once again, thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Like, subscribe, and we'll catch you next time with another video. Out.